Hi, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for the last 2 weeks of October. This is your 12th house spread. Lots of cards wanting to jump out for you, Gemini. In your first house, Gemini, of identity, whoops, upside down. In your first house, Gemini, you've got the Temperance card. So this landing in your first house of identity, your sense of self, what makes you you, your essence. The Temperance card suggests that you're going through a period of refinement. So the Temperance is about refining one material into a more precious element. If you think of alchemy, lead into gold, perhaps you're going through some sort of alchemical process. Who am I really? What really serves me? Let's see what our clarifier says.
Yeah. So in the first house with temperance, you've got strength. So something about creating your own strength, refining something until you're feeling pretty strong, and that coloring the rest of your reading as well, Gemini. But the strength card is not a forceful energy; it's a patient one, and it's measured. It's not something that you can make up. It's quite solid. So, and the infinity symbol as well, resting above that person's head there, is that representing the infinite patience that is required for this temperance and this refinement. But we'll see how the rest of the reading shows us how we can do that.
I get the sense, Gemini, just listening to you, that you really are coming into your own and you really are getting a sense of what your strengths are and not maybe being afraid of them. Like, oh, if I speak out in this really strong way, what will happen? Maybe people won't like me. You're sitting much more comfortably in your strengths and you're coming from a place of strength. So, really exciting time for you, Gem.
Mm.
In your second house of values, you have the Five of Cups. So the second house is all about what you're resourced with, your inner resources, your strengths, talents, gifts, and abilities that bring about your abundance and your security. So it's interesting that the Five of Cups shows up. So you have, or you are in the process of walking away from something that no longer serves you, which is a great strength. And perhaps that's some way tied into your values. Like, yeah, I don't want to be around those people anymore. I don't want to do that thing anymore. Sort of
Mm.
honing who you are and what your values represent. So, kind of living your values more. And I get the sense that this is really going to serve you somehow in creating more abundance. But let's see what our clarifier says.
Mm. Fran, I just totally forgot that card that you were talking about. What were you talking
I
about?
was just talking, it is a bit forgettable. I was just talking about the Five of Cups.
Five of
Yeah.
Cups. Wow. Okay. So the clarifier fell out as you were speaking, and it's the Emperor. So the Five of Cups says to me something about letting go, about grief and acceptance. And the Emperor card is about making a very firm decision. The Emperor is cameoing in every reading today so far, but it seems to be that real passionate, fiery Aries energy. And being in your second house of value and resources, I think that's connected to how you're going to actually build that abundance for yourself. There may be an untapped skill or a well-known skill that you have, Gemini, that is connected to knowing how to make decisions and acting in the moment when you have to, in the heat of the battle. And so it's just a reminder that that's there for you to use.
Exciting, Gemini. Gemini, in your third house, which is your house, wants to come up upside down, wants to come out upside down. We have the Queen of Wands. Wow, really boss energy in your third house, your house of communication. So this is
Mm.
ideas, how you're communicating with yourself, how you're communicating with others. So the Queen of Wands, she is really in a position of empowerment. She's got a black cat. So back in the day of tarot, black cats were, everyone was kind of frightened of them. She
Mm.
doesn't care. She doesn't care about what anybody thinks about her having a black cat. She'll have a black cat if she wants to. So this kind of energy is creeping into your communication style. So it's empowerment. It's marching to the beat of your own drum. And I get the sense it's really playing well for you. What's our clarifier say?
Mm. Yeah, Queen of Wands in the third house and Ace of Cups in the third house. So there's something about this black cat energy that's feeling self-fulfilling. Maybe Gemini, I'm getting something coming through that your interest in the taboo, your interest in things that are fringe and outside social norms, and that actually gives you a lot of excitement, maybe some energy. How can you lean into that so that it's coming through in the way you communicate and your ideas that you're putting forward? That's going to really serve you well because it will feel self-fulfilling. It's not going to feel like you're working too hard when you're communicating about these topics or things that feel like you're actually connecting to yourself, your real identity. And so this is reminding you, don't forget to communicate from your heart, from your genuine and authentic parts of yourself, because that's how you'll be able to just keep going.
Yeah, that's fantastic. In your, I'm going to put this up
I
the
think your
right
deck's
way.
upside down. Yeah.
I do think
No
my deck is
reversals.
upside down. Yeah, no reversals. You have the Nine of Wands showing up in your fourth house of family, all things familiar, and how you feel at home in the world, how you make the world your home. So this guy's, he's won plenty of battles. So he is our wounded warrior. He's persistent, he's perseverant, he's standing his ground. There's great determination here. So this is your determination, Gemini, really coming into its own around family. So, where are you standing your ground in your family or your chosen family? Or where are you standing your ground so you can feel more at home in the world? What does our clarifier say?
Yeah, the clarifier in the fourth house is the Chariot. So this card is the card for Cancer, and that is representative of home and all things familiar, and a sense of protection. But it's about charging forward and feeling confident in the direction you're moving in. I think this card is also saying um, perhaps the things about the people and the home life that you're living in, even though they may feel like this is where I need to be and this is what I've always done, perhaps you're actually finding a different home or feeling familiar in a new place that is initially foreign, but it's starting to get a little bit more um, known. So I wonder how that's coming up for you, Gemini, particularly because um, maybe your home is in traveling and being moving and changing and allowing that to constantly shift. That's what feels familiar. The challenge on the other side of that is, do you need to stay still long enough to actually build something in that same place? So that would just depend on your individual circumstances.
I just get the sense for some of you, Gemini, if you're wanting to create a family, the Chariot is about success and quick success. So that's looking good for you.
Mm.
In your fifth house, Gemini, of creative
Oh.
expression, you have the Queen of Wands. Beautiful. So the Queen of Wands is all about following her heart and mastery around her emotion. She's very deep, deeply intuitive. She's gone very deeply within, so she understands her emotions. So she's very comfortable in that world. So, what a beautiful placement for creative expression. So, what I feel here is because you're so at home now with your emotions, or you're coming into that for some of you, is that you can express creatively in a really comfortable way and just bring through emotion. So the fifth house is ruled by Leo. So Leo is all about that playful, creative inner child. So I get the sense that you've reconnected with him or her and they're coming through. What's our
Mm.
clarifier say?
Yes, and we've got Judgment card. So the Judgment card, clarifying for the Queen of Cups, is about the call to new life through intuition. Paying attention to, yeah, the depth of those emotions that come through for you, Gemini, but also that you can use it to transform into a new way of being, a new perspective. Um, I think what this is saying too is that for a while you've been coasting along and not being too connected or connected enough into your own intuition. Maybe you've learnt to, or maybe you've forgotten how to trust your intuition, as we can often experience when we've experienced a bit of trauma or some wounding and not knowing how to trust our own bodies and our gut. But I think this is calling you back into that space so that you can express yourself creatively, you can feel connected to that inner part, the vulnerable part, the childlike creative part of us that needs to be alive too. So yeah, I think that's the key to that part.
Lovely. Really strong call to your creative to your creative sense. I get the feeling for some of you, if you answer that call around creative expression, whatever that means for you, that perhaps that is going to be your new place in the world, whatever
Mm,
that, however that lands for some of
yeah.
you. In your sixth house of work, you have the Fool. So the sixth house is work. It's choosing well, good discrimination, positive discrimination. It's health. I get the sense the Fool, which is a leap of faith in your house of work, you're being asked to take some leap of faith in your place of work. And I feel like that's going to go really well for you. What's our clarifiers say?
Mm. The Ten of Swords. This card looks so daunting, but it's a blessing in disguise because of the sign that the hand is making there as the person's fallen. But being in the sixth house, this card is kind of reminding us of the difficulty we've been through. Don't forget how much you've actually struggled already in the past. And even if it may feel difficult in the workplace, who knows what it could be? It could be a mean manager, a nasty boss, or it could be, I'm getting the words backstabbing because of the the very visceral image there. But it's not all for nothing because it's a testament to your willpower and your strength, Gemini. Um, I would not take this as a disheartening gesture. It's more around a reminder of your own capability, that you know you can reach out to the right people when you need to, and know that it's actually got nothing to do with you. It's just other people's projections onto what they believe, and that's false anyway. So trusting, you know yourself, you know your goodness, your value, and letting those swords just kind of like ping off you.
And the Fool is saying that that cycle has come to an end and this is a new beginning.
Mm.
And this new beginning is about innocence and having the capacity just to take a leap of faith. So that cycle's over. So the Fool is saying that that's something that you've healed from and you can really let go of. Beautiful. So in your
Yay.
seventh house of, yeah, yay. In your seventh house of relationship, hello, Page of Cups, somebody's got a secret admirer, or you've got your eye on somebody there, haven't you? Perhaps it's mutual. So
Is this
that,
reading for me? No, it's
yeah, I
not.
think it is them.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not a
All
Gemini, but
those,
yeah, it's for me.
I'm sure Gemini is somewhere in your chart.
Yeah, I
Um,
wonder.
How exciting, Gemini. So somebody's got their eye on you. That fish also represents your big dream that you would like to manifest. So this could be a big dream that you have around relationship. Let's see what our clarifier says.
So, Page of Cups, and then we've got the Three of Swords. Oh, this card is all about how to heal from past wounding. Um, it's not a future prediction placement, and in the seventh house, it's about where have your relationships hurt you before? And we've all been there. Everybody's had a story where we've been let down or hard done by. So this is a card that reminds you, learn from the lessons of the past. Maybe it's asking you to pay attention to the promises you made yourself to never repeat after you ended that nasty one. And is that emerging in the future? Perhaps it's what's hidden under the fantasy. But if not, this could also just be around watching out for your own self-criticism and your self-doubt that could be stabbing into your own heart. And just kind of doing some work around that to bolster the goodness and the strengths and the capacity you already have to heal and accept yourself too. And I think that's what will really lead us into more fulfilling relationships.
And I get the sense that your secret admirer is a person that is going to go some way to healing this past heartbreak. So that's exciting.
Yes.
Lovely. So, Jem, in your eighth house of transformation, you have the Five of Wands. So, the Five of Wands is traditionally about conflict, competition, and resolution. So, in your eighth house of transformation, it suggests that you're transforming the notion of conflict and competition into something so much higher that really serves you. What does our clarifier say, Em?
Hmm. Page of Swords. So in this So we're in the eighth house and the card of conflict and conviction. Page of Swords is, yes, there's a fight happening. He's holding his sword up. He's ready to go. And then he turns his head and he's like, is there another way? What else can we do to make this more transformative than it can already be, as it's in the eighth house? But the Page of Swords is also about it's a figure who's been going along on this path because it's been socially expected of him. But he's got his eye on an alternative. Is there a different way to do things that's really not usually accepted by other people in our lives or maybe ourselves that can actually be really useful to call on in this time? And I think even in that card that you were holding up, Fran, was it the Five of Wands? Is that what it was?
Five of
Five of Wands.
Wands. Yeah.
I'm like 5, 7. I get mixed up with them sometimes, but um, that it's there's a figure in that card that is wearing dots, and that's meant to represent having fun, something creative, just silliness and humor. So how can you turn a very serious situation into something different, maybe lighthearted, or I think it kind of leans into the energy of the universe that's not always so serious. There can be tricksters involved too.
And just as you're speaking, Em, I get the sense if you lean more into your curiosity rather than your sense of competition and maybe being threatened by that, curiosity is key.
Yeah.
Really nice, really nice. And you're all about curiosity, Gemini. Are we still on Gemini?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, cute.
That's the
Thanks,
humor we're
Jim.
talking about. Exactly.
Yeah, I knew it was. Beautiful. So, in your ninth house, Gemini, of higher mind, call to adventure, call to expansion, you have, oh, beautiful, you have the Nine of Pentacles. So, this is a card of abundance. This is a card of knowing how to keep enough of your resources to yourself and share of yourself in a really healthy, balanced way. So, this showing up in your ninth house of a call to adventure, a call to expansion, higher learning. The sense I get is because you're coming into mastering this sense of balance, you really are able to answer that call. And this is a time of expansion for you and expanding into that higher mind represented by the ninth house. So new ideas coming in for you that are going to prove really innovative and I would say lead to great abundance and success for you. What have you got there, Em?
We've got the Five of Pentacles. So this card is asking us to pay attention to where we're leaving ourselves too open. Maybe we need to be a little more careful and decisive around how we show our vulnerabilities. But being in the ninth house of expansion, this may be a new space for you to occupy, Gemini, around how do you I'm getting the sense maybe sometimes there's an oversharing or a sharing with someone that leaves you feeling raw and like a vulnerability hangover afterwards. So just checking out how you can change that a little bit or bolster that with a bit different kind of support and who you choose to share with.
Really nice. In your 10th house, Gemini, of career, of contribution to the world, public face and status, oh, you have the very beautiful Six of Cups. So this is a soulmate card. This is a card of nostalgia. This is a card very much of your inner child being let out to play and that's serving you very, very well. So showing up in the 10th house, which is quite a serious house, it's ruled by Capricorn, responsibility. I feel like there's more of this energy being enabled for you in your contribution to the world, in your career. So maybe you're tapping into a more playful, childlike side of yourself in the workplace, in your career, and it's allowing for greater, richer, more inspired contribution, a different side of yourself. I wonder too, because this is traditionally a soulmate card, for those of you looking for love, just get the sense that maybe a soulmate, whatever that means for you, might be coming in for you at work. What have we got here?
Well, let's see. Oh, maybe this person's a bit of a hermit. So there's someone either in your life that is representing this, or it could be you wanting to lean into that reclusive energy, Gemini. But in the 10th house, this is about how you're shining your light to the world, and the Hermit holds the wisdom in his lantern. So either you're needing some time away to reflect, or you've already done that and you've got the insight and you're like, I've got it. I know what I need to share. Or there is someone else coming into your life and they're there to share their wisdom with you, whatever that may be. And perhaps it could be in the form of a relationship. So, yeah, that's what I'm getting from that.
I get the sense, just as you were speaking, that the playful energy of the Seven of Cups, I think I may have called it the Six of Cups. Oh
I
no,
think
the
it is
Six of
Six of Cups. Yeah.
Cups. Cups. The beautiful, playful, childlike energy of the Six of Cups is giving you the confidence and the courage to shine that lantern out into the world. And you're like, yeah, I know stuff, and you're really shining forth. So I would say lots of success and recognition coming in for you around career, Gemini. So in your 11th house of hopes and wishes, oh, beautiful. You have the Two of Cups. So
Mm.
this is potentially a another soulmate card or like a twin flame. It can represent your higher self or also making a decision. So there's a decision to make. So in the house of hopes and wishes, a wish that you have to connect more deeply with your higher self is being realized, or for those of you who are looking for love, strongly suggest that somebody's coming in for you. So wish fulfillment around that. What's our clarifier say, Em?
I think this has turned into a love reading. This is in this house, we've got the Six of Pentacles. So, again, connected to balance, relationships, duality, in your House of Hopes and Wishes. And the Two of Cups emerging with that, I think, is asking you to check how much energy you're giving out to someone else, to other people in your life, and how much you need to reserve for yourself. But it could also be an indication that at this time, all things are well balanced. Maybe you're feeling potentially doubtful about how that's coming up in your relationships, but this card is kind of showing me that what you're wishing for is coming true and that it's well placed. So not to worry too much at all.
Lovely. And also, too, is that Two of Cups? Is that Gemini? Is that Gemini's?
Lovers. Lovers is Gemini. Haven't
Oh,
seen any
sorry, Gemini. I
lovers
got
here yet.
excited. I thought that was you.
Mm.
In our 12th house, our final house of deep spirituality, you have the King of Wands. So the King of Wands is the greatest builder in the tarot. And the 12th house is about deep spirituality. It's about the inner work that you've done. So I feel like because you've done that inner work, you are now able to be this great builder, the King of Wands. He wants adventure. He's ready for expansion. He's like really poised for action. So I feel like your deep spiritual work that you've done or you are doing is really allowing you to manifest into this King of Wands energy. You know you can build it, and you can, and you are building it. And whatever you are building at the moment, Gemini, it's a strong indicator that it's going to be really successful.
Mm.
M.
Yeah. Clarifying the King of Wands, we have the Four of Pentacles. So it's not a true 12 house placement unless there's something that could be a warning. Working in the shadows and the dark places of the universe, this card comes up as asking you, where are you experiencing rigidity, clinging, and holding on? But the flip side of that card also is about security and stability. Very stable, 2 feet on the ground on the pentacles each, and in the arms, on the head. That means you're well structured. So with the King of Wands, I think that's saying there's very strong, confident energy happening. Just checking to make sure it's not too rigid, not too inflexible, because the 12th house is going to be reminding you about, don't forget about the flip side of that. So even though that's really secure, um, uh, it kind of reminds me actually of the Wheel of Fortune card, where it's connected to chaos, it's connected to the unknown and things that just pop up randomly. That can always happen at any time. So it's good to plan for the unexpected sometimes too, Gemini. But overall, this reading is really positive. I still think it's a love reading because it's either love of others or love of self. And the Strength card and the Temperance card emerging in the first house is really so supportive and reminding you of the skills that you already have. So yeah, well done for that.
You're really stepping into expansion, Gemini.
Mm.
Beautiful.
And that's a wrap. We'll see you, Gemini, in 2 weeks.